If you want to make a woman squirt, then you may have heard that you just need the right finger techniques and you can make any woman squirt. But there's actually quite a decent list of requirements and things that need to happen in order for a woman to be able to squirt. Yes, finger technique is very important, but there's also a lot of other things as well. And if you line up all of these different things with the correct technique, then you can make almost any woman squirt. Not necessarily everyone, but you'll have a much higher chance of success. So what exactly are these different things? Well, the first thing, and something that is often overlooked and should definitely not be overlooked, is arousal. You want your woman to be extremely aroused when you bring her to a squirting orgasm or you get her to squirt without an orgasm. The two don't have to occur together. They can be separated, but a lot of women will experience squirting and orgasm combined. But in order for this to happen, you do need her to be fully aroused. In order for squirting to happen, you want to have a lot of blood flow in the area. You want her to be relaxed and enjoying the experience so that she can let go and squirt. And if she's not aroused, you're not going to get enough blood flow, you're not going to get enough relaxation, and the chances are the squirting isn't going to happen. You also need correct timing as well. I remember trying to teach some of my friends how to squirt. One of them goes back to his wife, and then straight away at the start of their session, he gets in there vigorously trying to make her squirt without any lead up or anything really happening. This is one of the worst things that you can do. While yes, it is possible to make some women squirt right in the beginning before you've had any warm up or anything else, it's actually quite rare in order for this to happen. If you want the best chance to make a woman squirt, you need to pick your timing when she is at one of her highest points of arousal, of pleasure, of climax. If I'm with someone and I want a higher chance of making her squirt, some of the best timings is either after you've already given her an orgasm or when she's getting really close to orgasm. So I'm someone who likes to take my time. So in the beginning, I will start slow and sensual and build up using my hands, using my mouth, then leading to intercourse, which could start slow and then build up. Obviously, every situation is different, right? But there's often a point during intercourse where she is having a really good time, where she is very turned on. You can tell that she is experiencing a lot of pleasure. She may have already climaxed and is still kind of riding that high, or you may be able to tell that she's getting really close to climax because her pleasure is just building and building and building, and you can see that it feels really intense for her. This can be a really good time to actually stop the intercourse, come out, put your fingers inside her, and use the correct techniques in order to make her squirt. The correct stimulation is important in order to get a woman to squirt, and with every woman that stimulation could be different. Now, the most common way to make a woman squirt is using your two middle fingers with your outside fingers pointing down, okay? If they're pointing up against the outside of her pelvic bone, this is great for G-spot stimulation, but for some reason, it just doesn't seem to be as effective for squirting. So what you want to do is actually have those fingers down, these two fingers up, and you're inside with quite a lot of pressure, vigorously pushing up. You could use the draw out motion, which could help, or you may want to keep your fingers flat and pushing a bit further back than you would with the G-spot. If you haven't yet, go ahead and check out my video on the best G-spot stroking techniques to learn how to pleasure the G-spot, which can help with arousal, which can help with your timing as well. But you want the correct stimulation, which could be internally like we just discussed, or with some women, it could actually be externally. They might like to have their clit played with. There are a variety of different situations and techniques that you can use to help a woman squirt, and she might know that better than you. For example, I've been with some partners where there's a lot of internal stimulation to build things up, but then you come out and you stimulate the clit with your hands very quickly, and that would bring her to a squirting orgasm. With another partner, we'd be having kind of vigorous sex with her on top of me, and then as I would pull out right at the right moment, remember timing's everything, then she would be able to squirt as I come out of her. So everyone's different. You've got to experiment with your partner. While you want the correct stimulation, you also want the correct body position as well. And this is something I'll go into more detail on my course on squirting, which you can check out at my website over at passionately.com. But different women will prefer different positions, and often just lying down isn't the best position to make your woman squirt because the hips kind of tilt downwards, which makes it hard to get all the way in. So one of the best positions, while it can be awkward to get her into this position, is to have her on her knees like this, with you facing the other way, coming at her like this. It can be tricky to communicate in the right timing to get into that position, but if you can, then that's going to make it a lot easier to give the desired stimulation in order to get her to squirt. Lastly, a couple of things that she's going to need in order to be able to squirt is the correct mindset and also strong pelvic floor muscles. Correct mindset is extremely important. A lot of women feel a lot of shame around squirting, and the feeling can feel a little bit like they're going to wee as well, which can cause them to tense up and to hold it in and to stop the squirt from happening. They need to actually have the right mindset that this is a beautiful thing, this is extremely sexy, and they can just go ahead and let it go. If I had $1 for every time someone apologized for squirting, I'd have a few dollars to my name. But that just goes to show that a lot of women feel ashamed about this and they feel like they need to apologize about this. And I'm like, no, you don't need to apologize. This is extremely sexy. So if you can communicate with them, let them know that it's so sexy if they squirt. When you're in the moment and you can tell that they're getting close, encourage them to just let it go, let it out. This is amazing, you're so sexy. But on the flip side of that as well, you don't want to create pressure. So you don't want to say to her, squirt for me, I need you to squirt for me, go ahead and squirt. Because they might be like, well, I don't know how to squirt. And now they've got pressure in their mind that they feel like they need to squirt in order to make you happy and make you satisfied. But ultimately, they need to have a good mindset around squirting, that this is something that's for their enjoyment, it's something that you find really sexy, and that they can do it without judgment or shame, and it's going to be a great experience for both of you. And the best way to create that is just with some good, solid communication with your partner. And lastly, strong pelvic floor muscles can help with squirting and can help to push it out and release it. So if your partner wants to squirt and they feel like they're close but they're struggling to, then they may want to do some pelvic floor exercises in order to strengthen their pelvic floor, which can then help them to squirt, but can also help them to have stronger orgasms as well. So it's definitely worthwhile to do. If you have all of these components of arousal, timing, the correct body position, correct stimulation, a good mindset, and strong pelvic floor muscles, your chances of getting a woman to squirt are so much higher than if you just go in with the right technique but at the wrong time, without the arousal and the wrong body position. So learn these things, your chance of squirting are much higher. And remember, squirting isn't the be all and end all. You want to give your partner pleasure. So go ahead and check out my other video that I've done on the best G-spot stroking techniques so you can give your partner some immense pleasure.